Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon. It's been a very long time since we looked at Splatoon 1 here on the Wii U, and since then, we've had two new games on the successor system to the Nintendo Wii U, Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 3 on the Nintendo Switch. And both of those games have gotten DLC over the years as well, adding even more content to those said titles. So you may be wondering, why are we going back to play the original Splatoon on the Wii U? Well, simply put, these servers for the Wii U along with the 3DS, at this point of you guys watching this video, at the time of this being uploaded, the servers are no longer online. As in April of 2024, the servers were shut down for both the Wii U and the 3DS systems. So I wanted to go back and play some games on the Wii U before those said servers shut down, and one of those said games is Splatoon here on the Wii U. And going back to play the multiplayer content also put me in the mood to play the single player content. So I figured I'm getting ready to record Splatoon 3 footage for this said channel here in the near future, and since I'm getting ready to play more Splatoon, why not go back and play through some of the single player content here in Splatoon 1 once again. So we're back here in the world of Splatoon, back in Inkopolis Plaza, the OG version of Inkopolis Plaza, not the DLC version of this that appears in Splatoon 3. This is the original plaza with no posts anymore, sadly, due to Miiverse no longer existing, so it does feel a little barren now, unfortunately, but we're not here for the multiplayer. Instead, we are here to play the Amiibo challenges. Now, the Amiibo content here in Splatoon, I did cover in my original Let's Play back in 2016. And if you want to watch that video going over basically all of the content related to Amiibos here in Splatoon, I will go ahead and link that video in the description below. In that video, we just basically went over the basics when it comes to the Amiibo content. We talked about all the different variants of Amiibo that were released for Splatoon, the Inkling Boy, Girl, Squid, their variant colors, and then Callie and Marie. All the Amiibos do different functions here in the game, but the Amiibo Girl, Boy, and Squid give you more levels to play from the Octo Valley single-player campaign. And throughout those said Amiibo challenges, you'll be playing with different criterions along with some different weapons. But we only showed off some of the levels as it's just retreading levels we already played in that said series. So I didn't want to get things a little too repetitive by the end. It just would have been too much to do essentially 4 different single player runs back to back to back. So I opted to just show things in a more condensed fashion back in 2016. But today, we're here to play through all of those Amiibo levels. So starting things out, let's go ahead and scan our first Amiibo choice here, the Inkling Girl. Yo! How's it going? Want to try this challenge? So, since I've already beaten all of the single player levels in Octo Valley here on this specific file, I have access to all of the Amiibo levels minus the very final one in each area, but we'll unlock that as we play these set challenges. So let's go ahead and jump in with our first level here, Octo Trooper Hideout. Catch that Zapfish. So here we go, our first level here, revisiting the Splatoon single player. For the Amiibo challenges with the Inkling Girl, we'll be playing through all these levels using the Hero Splat Charger. And this weapon here is essentially the sniper rifle of Splatoon. So this weapon is definitely not for everyone, but at the same time, it does pack a punch and has some pretty good range. So while not the easiest weapon to use, it can still be a lot of fun in certain situations and really powerful in certain game modes. But this time around, I am playing things a little bit differently compared to how I did back in 2016. This time, I'm using motion controls, as back in 2016, I wasn't really fond of the motion controls in Splatoon 1, simply just because at that time I just found them harder to use. But nowadays, I cannot go back to playing Splatoon without the use of motion controls. It's just really hard for me to use stick controls nowadays because I just prefer how much more accurate it can be using motion aiming. So this is just how I play all the Splatoon games at this point. At the time of me playing this game, I am playing with plus 2.5 sensitivity. So it's not at the 0 baseline, but it's also not at the highest amount of sensitivity here. It's a good balance in between having neutral sensitivity and very high sensitivity. In Splatoon 1, you can only modify the sensitivity for both your motion and your controller sticks, so my motion and my stick sensitivity is the exact same here, but I play with plus 3 stick sensitivity in Splatoon 2 and 3, so this is very close to what I'm used to already, so this isn't really that bad. But as I'm making my way through this level here, I'm speeding through at this point because honestly, I've played this level a lot over the years. I pretty much know all the beats at this point. So we could just zip on through as fast as we can, just get ourselves some of the said collectibles here. This file has all of the eggs I would ever need for upgrades, and in fact, I have everything upgraded in this file, so it doesn't even matter. This is the same file that I used when I actually decided to stream all of the Splatoon single-player content before Splatoon 3 came out back in 2022. And this file, I did go back and upgrade all of the said gear and the weapon here in the game. So because of that, we just have a pretty maxed out file. So this is going to make things a lot easier for us. And at this point, I'm going to just be blazing through all these levels. But that's the first level down and our first Zapfish collected. So for completing the first level here, we got ourselves 600 gold. OMG, you really did it! Here you go. This is the reward that I promised. So one level down, let's go to level 2. Layer the Octo Balls. Splat your way to the top. That's not an Octo Ball. It's also dead though. This level here feels very easy with the charger at times because we don't have to worry about a lot of the main threats if we can just take care of everything from a distance. Some of these levels I do feel when you're playing through them with different weapons makes things a lot easier, and in some cases maybe harder. It just depends on what you're playing with. In some ways, I think the charger is probably the best weapon for the Octo Valley levels just because of its range alone. And in multiplayer games, having range like this but a slow shot could be a problem, but in single player, it's not really an issue at all because you don't have to worry about enemies rushing you too much here compared to how the multiplayer modes work in Splatoon, where it's very fast-paced and you don't want to be standing in one spot for too long. That's not really the case in Splatoon's single player. You can be in one spot for a very long time and you don't have to really worry about an enemy just flanking around from the back and then just sneaking up on you, and boom, there you go, now you're gone. That's not really a problem when it comes to single-player stuff in Splatoon. Or at least, for the most part, because when you get the AI bots coming into play like a multiplayer level, then things can be a little bit different, but the AI for the said bots aren't really the same as how aggressive humans can get in Splatoon. I've played a lot of aggressive Splatoon games over the years, and people definitely know how to just surprise you in like the most obscure moments. So I don't think we have to worry about that in the single player campaigns. I think we'll be fine. At this point, we're making our way through this level pretty fast, but you're noticing that we're not picking up any sunken scrolls here. Unlike the main single player campaign, there are no scrolls to collect, so no major collectibles here in the Amiibo challenges. You're just playing these levels from start to finish, getting to the end, collecting the said Zapfish, and calling it a day. Nothing really that special here, so this kind of a level we can just breeze through, don't have to worry about any major collectibles. And at this point, we can just go straight to the ending and just immediately win. Especially with the charger, we don't even need to do certain obstacles here. Like this said section, we're supposed to be using a cannon to paint this wall, but we can just kind of do the same thing with a charger. Have to be careful of the squeegee here because he's gonna eat up all of our ink. So I'm gonna try to bait it out in such a way where that shouldn't be a problem. And we should be okay at this point. That should be enough ink that we can just climb up. You can just barely poke our heads up, and there you go. We're here. Just gonna grab my Zapfish and ignore these enemies because we don't need to fight you. That's level 2 in the books. There we go. For completing level 2 here, we get ourselves 700 gold. And here's the reward as promised. Let's go ahead and move on to our next level. Rise of the Octo Troopers. Leap to victory. So this is level 3 from World 1. And at this point, we're getting near the end of World 1. So things are going to start picking up here very soon. But for right now, still a lot of the same basics. I do want to talk a little bit about how the charger works here, because if you're used to later games, it's a little bit different in Splatoon 1. Splatoon 2 introduces a charge hold for chargers, so my muscle memory is really trying to fight not having that here in Splatoon 1 because of how useful having a charge hold can be. In Splatoon 2, you can hold your charge and swim around in ink for about a second, but you can't do that in the first game. If you want to reposition yourself, you have to drop your charge or fire it out. You cannot use it after the fact. So in this case, on the move, I have to get rid of my charge. No way around it. So you want to go ahead and try to snipe out enemies as best as you can here. And just take mind of your surroundings. Use the cover as you can here to surprise enemies, especially knowing that you're a right-handed weapon user in the Splatoon series. So peeking out from a right wall is always recommended, just because right walls will allow you to still hide behind cover, but peek your gun out just enough that you can use it to attack your enemies. So keeping this in mind, you can take advantage of your surroundings here to pick off enemies one by one, which is really helpful. You also maybe see me jump over walls every once in a while, doing kind of the same thing. So again, stay mindful of your surroundings here, use it to your advantage, and remember that you're a right-handed weapon user in Splatoon, so you want to go ahead and use the right side of walls to attack enemies. Here, I do know I got myself some armor, but I don't need it, because I'm just going to go ahead and take out this enemy immediately here. And we also have ourselves an Arcane Special, the Ink Zuka, but we don't need this either, because again, we were able to pick off enemies with just one fully charged sniper shot. So that was an easy level. Let's take our goodies and get out of here. And because we finished both armor and with an Ink Zuka, we get plus 10 eggs for each. So if you need more eggs, it's good to finish levels without using up your set special and keeping your armor. But for clearing level 3 here, we got ourselves 800 gold. So there's even more money. Now, after beating these 3 levels, we unlock our first boss here. Squish, Squash, Smash, the mighty Octo Stomp. This one, we don't get money as reward, but instead, we get ourselves a piece of gear. So let's go ahead and jump into our first boss. There he is, the big ol' Octo Stomp. This guy is really not a problem using the charger. Here's why. You don't need to climb him. You can shoot him from down below. That kind of defeats the whole gimmick of the boss fight. You're supposed to wait for the Octo Stomp to smash his face on the ground, making his sides vulnerable. This way you climb up to the top, and then you can shoot his tentacle. Do that 3 times, and the boss fight is over. But with the charger, you can just stay down below here and pick off the tentacle. Each phase, he gets rid of pieces of his side, making it harder for you to climb up the walls, but again, you don't need to climb the walls. You can just shoot him from down below. So this boss fight is a joke using the charger. There is literally no challenge here. So just as soon as he appears, let's finish up this boss fight and be done with this in record time. Third phase has moving blocks here to climb up, but again, we're ignoring those, shooting the tentacle, and calling it a day. That is the first boss, just destroyed in an instant. Let's go ahead, grab our said Zapfish here, bomb it to open it up immediately, and there you go, the first boss is down. No real problem whatsoever. So for completing the first boss fight here with the Amiibo Girl, you get yourself the Squid Hair Clip, which has swim speed up as its primary ability. So that's your reward for beating a boss, and a pretty nice reward to boot. But that is it for World 1. We cleared out a full world worth of levels here, and we're ready to move on to our next set of levels going into World 2. Now, World 1 only has 3 levels in a boss fight, so we played through the entirety of World 1 using the Hero Charger. But starting with World 2 and beyond, there are more than 3 levels, but we only have 3 levels to pick from. So they curate which levels we'll be going through, and you can tell which levels that you're going to be playing from the said single player as they are numbered from those said worlds. So you can see some of our numbers do jump around in certain areas here. So this is a nice thing to note if you want to practice these levels ahead of time. Pay attention to the number above the level icon, and this will tell you where you want to go in the Octo Valley to practice these levels up. But we're going to be jumping into our next set of levels here in the next episode. So with that said, next time on Let's Play Splatoon, we'll be making our way through World 2 using the Amiibo Girl's Hero Charger. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.